What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream. Today we have Dmitry from Treasure Curls. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing yourself?
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Cheers. So we are back at weather changing period, right? The summer is behind us.
Yeah, it's
How is the weather in your neck of the woods?
very nice and hot in the daytime and pretty dang chilly at nighttime. It's kind of at that cusp of the season change. So it's reefing season is starting to approach again, which is kind of funny because it's very seasonal. I find, summertime people are doing stuff, starts to get more fall, winter, people are inside more, back in reef tank mode.
I can definitely feel it, and even in myself, like during the summer, especially in the hottest months, I would see a coral in my main tank lying down on the sand, and I would spend like a week without even getting my hand in and adjusting it. The thought of doing it repulsed me. Now I cannot get my hands out, and I cannot even imagine what it's going to be like in December.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit. I have, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of echo on that one. Let me just try.
Is there an
something.
echo?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's
Do you want
picking
me
up your
to
speakers. If you turn down a smidge, that'd probably
Hold on. Is this any better? I
test
just
swing 1,
switched
2, 3, 4,
to.
5. I think so. I still hear it, but it's
You
less.
think so? Right. I will lower it a little bit as well.
Okay, perfect. Only when Dev talks. Yeah, I think it was picking up your speakers. It sounds way better now. So
Perfect.
beautiful. Yeah, I have a big project coming. We might redo our flooring, which means I have to move a 6-foot peninsula tank out of the way and do this. So I've been threatening to give my tank a makeover for a long time. So I think this is going to be the time it finally happens.
So what's the plan? Like, are you gonna shut it down, or are you gonna move
No.
it?
I bought like a 150-gallon like stock tank. So that's currently being used as the ball pit with my kid, but that's going to be my temporary reef tank. So I'm going to set it up in the kitchen or somewhere, and then that is going to be my temporary tank for a week or two until we do all the floorings, and I'll reset up a tank back in there. And I may change it and change things up a little bit. We'll see. It's a good chance to like hack stuff back, and might change a couple of the rocks around and some different stuff. So clean all my sand bed is probably nasty, and there's probably a lot of gross stuff in there for 5 years of not being able to touch it.
Yeah, I also, the moment I saw those colors, the thing makes me think of a Mr. Beast challenge of some sort. So maybe you should throw that in.
Could be fun.
Speaking of sand, and I think the theme of tonight's session is lessons learned, and I think it's a good way to maybe spitball a few things. I burnt myself significantly on when I was moving the tank into this house. Was about 8 years ago. We moved, and I reused the sand, and it was a complete disaster because I didn't really rinse it. I didn't think of it twice. And the next day when I came in, basically the house just smelled of coral, and 80% of coral died. It was the closest I got into throwing in the towel.
Dang.
But yesterday, on Sunday, I published a video of another peninsula tank. And this is actually really, really cool. So probably one of my absolute favorite tanks here in Toronto. So if you visit, it's a must. By a guy named Carl, and it's a peninsula. Yep. He used to have a 4 feet by 5 feet peninsula tank by Miracles, and because it's peninsula, that money shot, you're looking at 5 feet of depth, and he's just majestic in terms of how he manicured all the corals, the layout, the sand, like just pitch perfect. And he was able to upgrade the tank in that little kind of walkout basement of his from 5 by 4 to 7 by 4 feet tank. Nice. And he added another half a foot at the top.
Nice.
And he did all of this without skipping a bit. So no trough. He brought in the big tank. It was like sitting off to the side, and then there was a trough. Then they kind of drained it, removed this tank, put the other one in, and get all the water back. And they were able to all do it like within a day.
Nice.
without really losing anything.
No, that's awesome.
But the point of the story is he actually reused the sand, but he just rinsed the heck out of it.
That's what I plan on doing. I'll probably keep, I have a couple rastas, so I'll probably keep a little container of like old sand that I'll throw in the trough. And then the rest of it, I'm just going to throw it in like, some 5-gallon buckets and put the garden hose in and just let it percolate out for like half an hour and just get all that junk out. So it's basically like new sand again.
I considered doing it. The reason I gave up last time when I was also moving tanks was because the old sand just became too dirty on the surface. It was like algae or something. It looked gray. It didn't look white. So if you have the two side by side, the brand new one was like beautiful white. The other one is kind of grayish. I figured, I'd just do the new one.
That's fair. I debated buying it, but I figured I'm gonna be poor from doing flooring, so that's like, okay, I'll do the little bit of work. But yeah, in the past, I find if you just fill up a 5-gallon bucket and just jam the hose in the bottom, and it creates that that liquid fluidized bed, and all the nasty little bits will just percolate out. And it'll take like 20 minutes, but eventually it'll get it all out and just move the hose around a bit. It works really well.
Well, how much salt water do you need for something like that?
I'll just use a garden hose to do it, honestly. For the sand.
So you rinse it with the
that's the only way you can
water
get it
with
fully
chlorine?
Clean. Yeah, there's probably a little bit in there. It'll be fine. You're not going to put it in when it's wet. You let it dry out, obviously, first, right? Or rinse with RO afterwards.
I was always thinking that like there would be some microorganisms that the moment you change the salt water to this, like they will kind of go.
Yeah, you'll lose your good bacteria. You'll kill it, but you'll have clean sand again, right? I mean, you go buy new sand. True. It's not like it's new. It's clean sand, right?
Yeah.
No,
fair enough.
Sand's not really new or old. It's really clean or dirty. So that's all you're doing.
Yes. How do you like the shirt? I put this on just for your viewers.
I feel like I should be more festive. It's good. I like it.
There you go. So yes. That's cool.
Still a bit of an echo. Yeah, I did hear it come back a bit on your side.
Okay, let's switch to the duo chat. I don't really know. I'm gonna try removing the other channels completely, and let's just see if we can do that. Worst case, I will have the headphones.
Perfect.
So maybe we'll do a little.
That will fix it.
Something here, and there will be no excuses. I come prepared.
Good man. Good man.
Hold on, and now I just need to output. Let's see. Say something.
Do.
It's still not going to the thing for some reason. I'm not sure. As I tweak things, what's been the biggest challenge of your summer?
Biggest challenge of my summer, probably. That's a good question, actually. I don't know. Not giving my tank enough love. I'm finally starting to get, back into tank mode again and get some new stuff. I'm probably going to get some more gonies for the goni tank soon, which I'm excited for as always. And then my echo's starting to sound better in the background, promising. Debating doing like a mini tank upgrade. I don't know. We'll see with all this swapping.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
What? Listen, I don't know why this software is not quite cooperating there. I selecting audio output destination.
Do.
And it's just doesn't want to cooperate. So I will do one last thing, and if it doesn't work, then we're just gonna.
Fair enough. I mean, it's not bad. It's just noticeable.
Let's do this one.
Dun.
It's misbehaving.
I don't hear right now though, so I'll take it.
Oh, you know what? It's the test button was misbehaving, but now I can hear you there. So there
perfect. Yeah, no, it sounds great.
We figured it out.
Beautiful. All right, back in business. What's been your biggest challenge lately?
I would say I spent a fair bit of time looking at other people's tanks, and everybody's got the same stuff.
Yeah.
And in this hobby, you want the challenges, you want something a little bit unique or different, or like what's next kind of thing. So I was thinking what I can do differently without like doing anything crazy. Like I don't need to go and buy I don't know, $1,000 fish or anything along these lines, or necessarily go with some crazy coral. But where are we going? I think I always bring up this question every time you and I chat. Like, what are we expecting in 2026? Like, what are the new challenges? What is going to be the most exciting thing, per se?
I don't know. I have like my latest toy. Alyssa's on this chat, so she already knows what I got. But I got a frozen food feeder. So we traded. Thanks, Alyssa.
Oh wow!
So I haven't installed it yet. It's on my to-do list still, but I'll probably start playing with that this week. So that's my latest toy. So
who's the company?
IND Aquatics.
IND Aquatics. Where are they located?
Somewhere in the States.
Oh, I see. Nowadays, getting things from the States is a little bit tougher than it used to, huh?
They are in California, maybe? Or at least where shipped from.
Sweet.
So, yeah, Cali. There you go. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they'll be cool. So, I actually got 2 of them. I traded Alyssa for one. I got another one. So, I'm going to automate both tanks. And then I'm looking at, because I got to swap my tank and do all the flooring in a little bit. So, I'm 50-50. Do I keep this one or not really an upgrade, but same thing, like the newer water box with the aluminum stand and all that jazz? Depending. My buddy's after mine, so I was like, we'll see. But
really?
it's basically the same tank, though. I'd still do white.
Oh, so they have white, but it's aluminum, eh?
Well, yeah. So it's anodized aluminum for the frame and the stand, and then it's just like sheeted in, the doors and the wood and stuff on there. So I was debating that because it'd be kind of cool because it's just like Big Kid Lego, right? With the 20-20 or 30-30, like all those bars, you just add onto it and add little mounts and shelves and stuff.
That's neat.
Yeah, so we'll see. So I'm toying with that idea. And then I have a buddy, because same thing, when I frag my tank, I'm like, hey, what do I do with all this coral? So we'll see. I have an idea. So I'm like, if I do get that other one, I might trade this one to my buddy, and then we'll use that to throw all this coral in and grow it out at his place and see what happens. Potential
Sweet.
fall projects.
How is your goni garden?
It's doing pretty good. I'm going to have to add some more soon. I feel like I haven't added any in a while. They are, the clown loves it. He just like goes, all those little bedsies goes from like goni to goni, but yeah, overall,
and it
I'm loving it.
Doesn't harass it too much?
That's pretty good. He's, yeah, still pretty blue right now, but you can kind of see on there. Focus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't show up very well. It's too blue.
But yeah. Still, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but overall, some of them are getting bigger and fluffier, and a couple have just stayed fairly small. But I'd say overall, it's pretty happy. Here, let me get. Snapped a photo earlier that was less blue. But yeah, overall, it's doing pretty good. So other than wanting more gonies, I'd say that tank's pretty happy.
Yeah. What do you have for fish there other than the clowns?
Clown, chromis. I have a filefish. I have. What's he called? He's like purple on the top and yellow on the bottom. Not a goby.
No,
like a dotty backish family. Not a royal gamma.
Oh, like
orchid dotty back maybe? No.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Dotty backs. That's bugging me now. Yeah, purple striped dotty back. So he's yellow on the bottom and like that bluey purple on top. I've got a few other random little ones. There's a little goby in there somewhere, or a blenny rather. Bunch of inverts. Yeah, overall it's good.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. So, do you have any nice gonies in your collection?
I have some. I find that the biggest trick is getting them from like a really reputable source where it's not compromised, because I've done my share of early when I was starting out of going to the store sometimes and just picking something up and it's stacked against you already. So for a month, everything is fine, and it just withers away because there's just either some bacteria or something inside that slowly rots at it, kind of thing.
But yeah, no, I think, I think there might have been like one or two that didn't fare well out of some of the ones that I imported some way back when, but the rest are all happy and doing their thing. It's just like they're slower growers, right? So that's the waiting game now.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, so they're good. But yeah, overall, like, no, I'm still really digging them. For me, it's different because I always do mixed reef. So doing like basically an LPS tank is something I've never done. So for me, it's like something newer and exciting.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good segue for the topic of today's video, which is kind of lessons learned. At least for me, doing the coral farm. So here in Toronto, Canada, I grow all the coral from frags, treasure corals, all of that good stuff. But what was interesting is when I get a chance to talk to a lot of folks, in some that are just starting out, some that, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and then the old salt. The old salt folks are fairly, you know what to expect. Everybody's already been around the block. They've done through the whole curve and then they just settle whatever they kind of like.
Yeah.
But the number of people that are, let's say, 1 to 3 years that kind of say the same thing is very, very surprising to me. So a few things. One was every time they see an anemone in my tank, it's as if everybody's listening to like one person. They're all like, "Oh, how can you do this? I will never touch it because I was told that it's gonna wander and then it's gonna go into a propeller and then boom." Now, in 15 years of me doing reefs, and like I don't want to jinx it, because if I'm gonna send you a message tomorrow, just kind of going like that happened, I've never seen that happen, or I don't know a single person that this really happened to.
Of Dems moving, I've had it.
They move all the time. But where it ends up in the pump and then like it's a disaster, I haven't not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't had any off themselves per se, but I have had them like decide to go to a new spot where there's a bunch of acros and then.
Sure.
Yeah.
But even then, most of the time, if they're happy where they are, at least I find, like if we find a spot, especially if it's on the sand, on a rocks, so they can just wander around. If they're not harassed by flow, and if there is no, let's say, if there's place for them to hide, so you want all those little holes in there, they can be happy in this spot for ages. Like you're talking multiple years, and the only reason why they would ever move is like when they outgrow the rock, and then like one of them detaches, and then you may find it floating someplace else. But that's like maybe once a year, once every 2 years, I will experience something like that.
Yep. Okay, Franklin in the chat said he's had 2 go into pumps over the last 15 years, so that happens. But yeah.
Was it in the beginning of his career, or was it kind of towards the middle or end? I'm just curious. Or was it in succession, like day 1, day 2?
Yeah. I mean, 15 years is a good spread, so it's probably been a couple
It
times,
is.
but...
It is.
Yep.
Another thing, like still kind of on the fish, living creatures. I was shutting down a tank in my farm. My farm consists of multiple tanks, and over the summer it was just a little bit too much. I've decided I'm going to just focus on one tank. It's the biggest one, but like I don't want any other tanks. It's just too much, unless this is something that you spend 40 hours a week, which I don't. It's impossible to just maintain the level. So anyways, I I removed all the coral, and then I had some fish, and I had a purple tank, and I had a sailfin tank, and a clown tank. And what do I do with that, right? So I talked to a whole bunch of people. The clown tank, I wasn't too worried because it was going to my 6-foot farm where there's not a single fish that looks like him. So I was tempted to put it in my main tank, but I have a Sohal tank in there, and I've learned my lesson to probably not do that because they're too similar, and one will go after the other.
Yeah.
But the other two were really interesting. So the sailfin, I have a sailfin in both tanks, and the purple tank, I have a purple tank already in both tanks. But I didn't want to sell them because I wanted to keep them. So before I was going to introduce them to the tanks, I talked to probably 10 different people, and there was not a single one that said, oh yeah, go ahead and just do that. Maybe with Selfin, okay-ish. They were kind of saying that maybe you might be lucky. But for Purple Tank, every single person is like, disaster, don't do it. Like, it's the worst thing ever, whatnot. And I thought it for a while, and then I didn't do any acclimation boxes. Just one day, I just picked up, I put the Selfin in one tank, in the big one, the main display, and then the purple in the other. And they were fine. Like, there was a little bit like the powder blue gave a little bit of aggression towards the sailfin, surprisingly, but the next day they were fine in both tanks.
Yeah, that's all right then. Perfect.
But like, where are those things coming from?
It really depends on the fish. Like, powder blues are known to be, more bosses of the tank. In my experience, I find yellow tanks to be the biggest jerks. Like, I've had yellow tanks, basically harass fish to their demise, trying to add something new in the past. So I've had them, but like my big tank, I have, a yellow, a purple, a red sea sailfin, a bunch in there. But, I had a different yellow tank, my office tank at one point. Anything I knew, he would just harass it. So I eventually strayed to the LFS because he was just too much of a jerk and started dealing with it.
Interesting.
But so it really depends on the personality of the fish. But my experience, yellows are the most aggressive. So some of them are. Like, some are fine, some of them are punks.
That's so interesting because I like, for me, the yellows have been always the sweethearts, like the big labs, yellow labs to begin with. But here's another one. A while ago, it was 2 or 3 years ago, a buddy of mine called me because somebody was selling a yellow blue tank. I was like, what is that? Because, you have a blue tank, you have a yellow belly blue tank, but that yellow, like that tank on the photo was yellow, but it was a hippo tank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what is that? And it wasn't too far from me. So the guy was selling, like, I came up to his place. It was a chiropractor, and he had, I think, 3 tanks. Each tank was like 300 gallon, 400 gallon. And you could clearly see he's not a coral guy, but he's got a bunch of rocks from like probably 30 years ago and some fish. And he showed me that tank. That tank was like in a smaller tank, and it was yellow because it was just so stressed. It changed color. He's like, just take it. I don't want him anywhere near. This is the worst fish I've ever met. He's so horrible. He's got, aggression problems. He barely could survive in my 300 gallon. He was dominating everybody. I want him out. And, it was a little bit too late. So I picked it up from him, brought him in thinking like, what kind of crazy fish this is. I put him in my sump, and it was in my sump for probably a month. Just because I was too afraid to put him into kind of the main farm. Then eventually I go in and I put him there. And to this day, this is my absolute favorite fish. He's a sweetheart, has never given anybody any grief whatsoever. The only downside about him is that for whatever reason he likes chalices. So if he sees a frag of like Raja Rampage or Hollywood Stunner, only those two. Like, I mean, he just something about the colors, whatever it is. He's gonna go in, he's gonna pick it up, and then I'll find it, somewhere on the other side of the tank, like every once in a while. But absolute, like he's like a dog. It's probably the only fish I can actually pet. I've never experienced anything like that. So if I turn off the water flow and he's so ready to to eat, I can brush up against him and like totally fine. He doesn't mind it. I love him to death.
That's cool. Yeah, there's my big red sea sailfin's kind of like that. Like, I've gave him a little rub a couple of times, not all the time, but every once in a while it'll come up. He seems to be the one that doesn't care as much. To your other question earlier about the anemones, he says, I had over the last 15 years. What do you say? I had one in the beginning and one this year, so a pretty big spread. So
Okay, well,
one in the first year, and 15 years later, another one.
it's all cyclical.
Yeah.
So, it's not bad in 15 years.
So
But yeah, so just go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, with your coral farm, do you separate coral by types? Like, do you have acros in one tank and like LPS in another tank, or are they all mixed?
Excellent question. So it used to be separate. So I tried every single combination under the sun, and then at some point I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a very high flow, high energy acro tank, and then the LPS is gonna be, lower energy and maybe a little bit less light. I found that just too much algae on the glass. It was a little bit too hard to maintain, and just in general, in theory, it was easier. If I had all the resources in terms of time, I'd probably keep them this way. But eventually, I combined, and everything is in one tank, and I have no problem whatsoever. But what I've done is I made sure that the lighting is not spread out too evenly. So there's like hot spots within the tank where all the, acros that really like it, they're going to go there, and maybe some torches. And then on the corners, I have a lot less par, and these are where things that like Tropicana and Acroppora, for example, is going to go in. So it doesn't need a lot of light.
Yeah.
And same with the flow. After a lot of experimentation, I settled on the wave flow, which is, I find it still moves a fair bit of water. Like it's really good, and yet almost any coral can kind of withstand it. So acros absolutely love it, but also torches are totally fine with that. So I
you're
have
doing more of like a wave
flow
in your tank just to rock it all.
Yeah, and I've done everything. If for those of you joining who are familiar with my channel, like I always document it, and I've tried probably every single combination. Starting out with late Jake Adams gyre, where everything was kind of, I don't know, laminar flow, and just kind of doing it this way, and then 3 hours later changing the other way. So I've done that. I've done the random. I've done the most turbulent thing that can be. Eventually, in this tank, now you have to be careful with some tanks. That movement back and forth is probably not good for to do for 2 years. But my stand is an overkill. Like, I mean, everything is just rock solid, and that thing is cat's pajamas.
I've always wondered if it would cause extra stress on like the silicone and stuff if it's constantly being like hammered with like the pulse and the waves, or if it's not even an issue.
I think it will be. So I would be like, I'm not doing it on my main tank, there, because on my water box, although it's built very well and you've got like all the seams and everything else, I'd be more worried about the stand and the fact that still like all those connectors and everything else, there's probably micro in its metal.
Yeah.
So I'm less concerned about the silicone, but it all depends on the risk rating of the silicone. So if you're getting closer to kind of slightly less comfort level, then probably never do it. But if you've, let's say, doubled it and you have the Euro brace, pretty sure nothing will happen.
Yeah, that's a fair point. When you say the wave box, is that like the Toonsy one that just like shoots water up and dumps it out, or?
I did not do that. I just used 4 MP40s.
Okay.
And I tried. I wish the old ones were really, really cool, like the manual ones, because it had like automatic thing, but now it's on Mobius. You can't really do that, so you just have to try a setting, go away, come back in a minute, see if it's
all
better.
about the pulse width and how long it takes to get there.
Yes. And surprisingly, because you have two sides, you cannot actually, you're not supposed to actually do alternating. So like you do some sort of a setting on both where it's just, there's no real way to kind of figure it out other than just trying a whole bunch of combinations.
Yeah, that's fair. Mine are just all reef crest random within a certain range, which I've done for ages. But I might play up once I redo the tank after removing. I'm probably going to experiment and try and mix up the flow a bit more.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should.
Mm.
Um,
So all
another,
corals together,
yeah.
obviously can have more or less light on the region, and your flow, just get everything rocking.
Hmm.
Generally, is going to move water everywhere, which does well.
I think so. Now, one more caveat is I have one orbit
Hmm.
on the opposite side of the overflow
Hmm.
that just turns on for 30 seconds every 30 seconds.
Hmm.
So what it does, it just moves a lot of water towards the overflow, and then it just stops. And I
Yep.
figured this with
Surface
the
skim.
wave,
Yep.
it's a pretty good mix.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So for on the farm things, is there anything you've done that you've regretted, or it's been like a gotcha over the years? You're like, why did I do that? Or stuff that you've like drastically changed, or I know you experiment a lot, so I'm sure there's some stuff.
I do,
Mm-hmm.
and um, first of all, I like as a little side note. The first thing I thought when you said that, I really miss Adam's Frag Garage
Podcast.
podcast. Like I don't know what happened, but that was the biggest deal for me. Like I used to love to turn it on and talk to and to listen to one of his guests because there
Mm-hmm.
was just so much morsels of wisdom. He prepared so well for that.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I work on a farm, I just kind of miss that. But wrong tangent.
I'm sure I'll be back at some point.
I hope so. Shout out to powerful Adam. I would say I didn't really. I experimented a lot with the layouts, and took me a while to find something where it's easy to maintain and clean.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't really regret kind of going through all of this because you would never know how to position it in the first place. Um, maybe yes, I regret probably adding too much stuff to the tank in terms of different liquids and magic potions. That's
Yeah,
probably what I regret the most.
that's fair. Definitely not a fair
Yes.
share of experimenting over the years.
Um, I spent probably 2 or 3 years methodically trying almost every single trick under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I would say the biggest epiphany was when at some point I was just so sick of it, I stopped and I didn't do anything for like 3 months. And then one day I was just like walking by the tank and I'm like, oh my God, the colors. Now I increased the water changes. That was
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that I changed other than starting to add all of this. And the colors I was pulling were day and night compared to where I was trying every single, magic potion.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, more water changes is something that we probably should all
Yeah.
do. I gave my tanks both one last week. It was like a treat. It's been a good month or two since I've done them. So, but
That's
they're just happier when you do it.
that's one non-negotiable that I have.
I've been toying with the idea too on the new tank.
Please.
Because I have a dosing pump with like little 1/4 inch line that goes down to do water
Okay.
changes. But I've been debating if I get, like a, slightly bigger pump that I just leave in the sump that can just like flick a switch and let that drain out a bunch, and then have another one in my bin that goes, but basically just accelerate it. So instead of doing, my gallon a day, it can do, 30 gallons all at once in 5 minutes type of thing. So I don't know if
Okay.
there's a big difference. I've always went back and forth, versus doing tiny daily ones versus bigger ones a little more frequently. But I've been toying with that.
How so walk me through this. How would you program it?
I would have.
And sorry, what's the mechanism first of all? Like what kind of pump would you be going with this and how would you be controlling it?
I would probably just manually do it. Like right now, I have a dose quiet drive that sucks
Yes.
water out and adds water
Yeah.
in. It does,
Yeah.
a gallon and a half a day or whatever it is.
Okay.
When I turn it on, it's on, and until I get low in salt, and I turn it off, and it stays off for like a month, and eventually I refill the salt and redo it.
Okay.
And every few months right now, I have like a 25, 35 gallon brute container, whatever it is, and I'll just suck one out and replace one. But the other part of me is thinking too, if I take something like what's the little ATO company? Why am I buying it? There, I might
Oh,
live stream last week.
not Tunzi.
Yeah, Toonsy. Like they have their little turbo pump thing, whatever, the new one that comes out,
Yes.
super quiet. I'm just like, okay, one of
Yes.
those would be not bad. Like just pop one
Yeah,
of
because
those in your sump.
it's much more water flow than
Yeah, it's more flow and
the
it's
thing. So
quiet. So I was like, okay,
yes.
I could buy 2 of those and have one in my sump that can basically
Okay.
pump water down the drain, and have another one down below and pump it up, or get a bigger pump, but just to do a larger volume pretty quick. I don't know why.
Okay.
It probably doesn't make a difference versus doing the dosing pump, but that's another idea I've been toying with in my head to do it.
Interesting.
Is there any
How?
advantage over just using a dosing pump? Probably not. Low and slow versus bigger, faster all at once. I don't know. It could be something it kicks off in feed mode when your sump level's higher anyways. Go down, do it, fill it all up before your feed mode's done. But yeah, I don't know if there's any advantage of it. This is one of those weird things that I've been contemplating tweaking on the tank.
I've been thinking about something similar, but I would love to have an engineering solution to do a very large water change effortlessly.
That's
I haven't come up
exactly
with one.
this. Exactly this, but bigger pumps, right? You can have one in your sump that basically drains it all down, and you have another pump with a little thing over the edge of your sump where you push a button and it fills it back up.
But how would you measure? Like, it's the measurement, right? So you'd have to either use like floats to, like, say we want to change 20 gallons,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like something more substantial. So how would you do that? You're right. You have to go to like feed mode or something to turn off the pump. So
Yeah.
basically the level is set.
Yes.
Then you'd have to have a float switch to say turn on this pump to suck the water out until let's say the float switch is kicked in. That is a pre-measured thing, and then I guess the other pump is until it goes empty, or there's another floating switch there.
Yeah, so you could just have like a high and a low sensor, right? Like, okay, it's in feed mode, suck out, however, depends how much drains in your return pump chamber, right? It could be 20 gallons or whatever it is. So it could just suck that out, okay, hit the low point, that pump turns off, next pump turns on, refills it. And again, I don't know if there's a point of all this effort. It'd be faster to do a bigger one versus a slow and slow, but...
No, there's definitely a point. First of all, it's fun to solve this particular problem. Like the next thing I'm starting to think right away is how we can do that without anything mechanic. It's like the actual electricity and just doing it using physics. So like gravity and all of that good stuff. Like that's fun. Like I know the end result. The end result I want. Like a button or something to just press, maybe maximum 2, and that's it. Yeah. Because with this hobby, the easier and the more frictionless you make something, the more likely you are going to do it.
Yep. I mean, another thing that you could do, don't be lazy, just do them manually. Take the risk out of a sensor water failure. Phil, I'm thinking if I'm replacing my flooring, me hauling water less takes away risk. That's my driver for this. Mike, question earlier. Kevin H. Sydney Reefing has a recent video that goes over the science paper that talks about flow. Basically, turbulence is more important than flow to break the boundary layer. More flow, more better, honestly, for most corals, as long as you're not hammering it.
That's another thing. There's all these papers, all of that stuff. I've listened to a lot, and I've read a lot of forums. One thing I'd like to point out, and maybe this is like a good opportunity for you to turn on the videos, because we gotta spice this up a little bit. But I just want to point out that whenever you read a paper or see something like this, ask to see the person's tank first. Yeah. That's it's remarkable how many experts there are, but then when you go and see like a renowned expert, and then you see what they have been keeping in their basement or whatever, and it's, oh really? So I've been getting advice from you for all these years. Excellent, but thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to see tanks to make sure they're good, for sure.
I like the Jason Fox approach personally, like, which is the guy is absolute coral whisperer, and keeps things as simple as possible. And yet, when you see his coral, you just kind of go, "Oh my god, that's he's figured out." So I would always pick his advice over some sort of white paper. I'm in that mood today.
He just
Sorry.
has big water changes. Like he keeps it super simple, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yet this is like insane. He's a gold standard for acros and everything else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So it just goes to show you. I'm like the point of all of this and like what we're having this conversation about is that we all want to have a system, some sort of paper. Like I have 3 or 4 shelves of books on coral and every single coral magazine and all of this stuff. And yet a lot of times when you go to amazing reefers, the real secret is the amount of time they spend on the tank and how they actually look at every single detail on the tank.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I got nice video clips, by the way, that you sent me.
yeah, I shot this in the last couple of weeks. So I've spent several weekends just meticulously organizing all the corals, the colors, the frags and everything else. And I ship all across Canada, treasurecorals.com. So a little shameless plug there. But
one day I'll have to order some corals up from you.
Well, there you go. First get a second Aquawiz.
One day. This all takes money.
I know. This is an expensive hobby. How expensive it has become as well, eh? Like it's
crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Because what's happening is a lot of old people have been around for a while. Like they no longer get excited by kind of regular stuff that we kind of all do, and then they just want something very unique, and it kind of goes crazy.
Yep.
But the coloration, like I just want to point out that still the most interesting part in the hobby is to bring out that like optimal color, and every coral requires, to your point, a slightly different combination of things, and at any point in time there's never a case where like all 100% of coral are super happy.
Yeah.
Per se.
Here, a side question, because there's a couple things in the chat. Phil, how often do you pull and scrub your racks that look very clean? And then there's a few comments of people talking about like farm versus hobby is different. But you also have hobby tanks as well as farm tanks, right? So you do both as well.
Sure. Yes.
So I guess that's another good little rabbit hole we can go into, the difference of, like a single tank versus, farming bigger systems. And do you do anything differently between the two?
Let's do it. I have just the answer for that. But first, let's go. Let's talk about the frag rack. I should have shown it. It's actually on the website. But the way I think, remember, I want things effortless. I've been doing it for a very long time. So I've actually designed a system. It's called Frag Rack Revolution, which is those lock-ins. It's if you take a standard egg crate and it's 9 by 9 cells, which is you can fit exactly 5 frags across, so 25 in total.
Yep.
This is the most optimal size. I've designed a system where it's those interconnected modular system, but every frag plate I can actually lift up, and I can let's say replace it with a new one and throw this one into acid, clean it up, and then I've got a brand new egg crate. Because for me, the problem with a lot of like egg crate and just legs is that after a while it just starts growing with all stuff, like nasty stuff, and it becomes unsightly.
Yeah.
Yes. Then
Here.
oh yeah. Maybe just scroll down.
Give me a second. No, it's I gotta.
Oh, I see.
I gotta capture the window.
Okay,
not the
you will.
It wouldn't let me.
You will. Right.
Because I'm actually looking at your website to figure out what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, and it's actually super versatile, because then we so the one it's this one here, yes, the first and second photo. So
okay,
yeah, that's perfect. So if you look at it, this is the frame.
Mhm.
The legs are customizable, so you can go any height you want.
Mhm.
And then the plates, you know, we 3D print the plates like this, or you can actually put in just a standard egg crate as well. And I just kind of go back and forth between them. And then yeah, so this is the egg crate right there.
That's cool.
And everything is so meticulous. So this space between those two big plates is exactly one cell. So you can, it's basically egg crate on steroids. And the nice thing, I can even attach little legs to the egg crate if I wanted to, and I can pick up the whole thing. And if I wanted to quarantine it or go to a coral show, for me to go
That's cool.
someplace, there is also like we have a thing where it's 3 shelves, and I can put it in the bucket, and then I go to a coral show. Like it's pretty out there. But
I like it.
then the end result is a super clean frag rack.
Very nice. So how often do you clean your frag racks or like swap them out?
That's a very good question. I usually every 2-3 months on average. I wish it would be covered with coralline, because then with the coralline, you know, no other stuff will grow in it. But it almost never gets to this point because something else happens, and I just kind of go and replace it. But it's not a big deal, and I just kind of do it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. Just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Video
big
audio
question,
should be muted now. But yeah, no, those are cool little frag racks. It's a cool design.
Amongst many other things we design.
So from, I guess, like lighting flow, do you do anything different between your display tanks versus the farm tanks? Or are they basically the same concepts everywhere?
So my display tank is all blades. My farm is a combination of blades and radians, just because I started out with radians, and I didn't feel the need to, you know, toss them or sell them and put the blades. So it's a combination, but the principles are the same. I try to go now close to 12 hours total light. It's a bit of a ramp up, so 10 hours of like a stronger light, and there is predominantly blue with, say, 2 hours of kind of stronger white somewhere in between.
Yep.
It seems to be everybody has settled on something like this. One thing I've been toying with lately is trying to extend the photo period but lower the intensity, because I don't know how others do it, but if I start cooking the system with like serious par, you know, 600 par or whatever, I will just get some sort of a weird growth of something, especially on the frag rack. And like I don't want that. I find the lower par is just gentler, and you can still pull really nice color.
Yeah, that's fair. So what do you run similar pars in the farm versus the display tank?
Yeah, so I would say it's about 2 to 300 par on average. So 250 to 300 is kind of that sweet spot. My main tank is significantly higher phosphates. Just for reference, like 0.5 is my main tank, and my phosphates in farm, I have to try to keep it at 0.1. If I don't test it after a while, like because just so much coral and they eat so much of that phosphate that you know, I'm gonna bottom out, and then big problems happen.
Now, is it worth adding more fish so you don't have
I
to worry as
have
much?
you have no idea how much fish I have in my farm. Like, it's just stacked with fish. And I try to feed more, so it's just finding that balance is a little bit harder. But for some reason, my main tank has kind of settled, and doesn't matter what I do, how much water change I do, whatever. It's just that's how it is. Maybe it's because more sand. I'm introducing a lot more sand to my farm soon. I just want to get a little bit more of that extra bacteria and all the goodness in there.
Yeah. Okay, a couple people in the chat said 0.05 or 0.5?
0.5.
Yeah. up there.
Yes.
Some people are like, "Oh, my corals will be all brown at that."
That's another thing.
It's not though.
That's
Like
this is
mine's
this is
stupid high too. Like I did
yeah
a big water change and added some
yeah.
fresh like Rophos, but mine's still higher than it should be.
So that's are you using aquatic log to keep track of your phosphates and nitrates?
I've been
Say this
slacking on
is
that.
all right. So I've made a few big improvements to the app as
Nice.
well. Aquatic log, another shameless plug right there.
Yep.
It's yeah. But I really want to kind of touch on that point. That's another thing that everybody keeps saying. Oh, high phosphates, it's a disaster. The corals are not going to be happy and whatnot. I've tried it all. And I would say actually when people start, let's say, using a phosphate remover and bring it down to whatever's supposed to be good, this is where actually all the bad stuff happens.
Too fast. Yeah, too fast is bad. So I last tested my phosphate in the water box 3 weeks ago and it was a 0.29. So just shy of 0.3.
Totally fine.
Yep.
And guess what? Like everybody is doing well.
And my Goni tank was even worse.
Yeah.
But that's why they both got a water change and a little bit of Rophos to like slow it down. But yeah, it's like it's not the end of the world if they're high.
So I will do. I'll come back to the earlier question that we haven't answered yet, which was the difference between the farm and the main tank, and what kind of makes us tick, and how the two compare. Because I think somebody in the comments asked that. So I would say, hand to God right now, the farm gives me a lot more joy at this moment in my life, in a sense that I like the visceral aspect of it. So the way my farm is organized is not only the frags, I can pick up and I do stuff with them, but also half of the farm is actually the grow out section with some really nice acros. But all the acros are on the little pegs. So I can actually pick up a colony, I can examine it. It's very simple. I can cut off a piece, I can frag it and do the whole thing. And I can tell you, and plus you have the top-down view, which as we all know is the best view of any tank, especially when it comes to Acroppora. This is like, it's completely different looking at a very nice coral, like this straight versus from the top. The top is, oh my God. So when I turn off the flow, the light is on, the fish are swimming around, and I'm looking and hovering over the acros. It's an immense pleasure.
Yeah, no, I do love those top downs. They are beautiful.
So after a while, I kind of split. My farm right now is my super meticulous. Everything is super measured. I'm keeping an eye on everything and manicured, pristine. And my main tank is large colonies, things where I've got like a green slimer in there or a couple of stags. There's like pink Cadillac, things that will not die on you, knock on wood, unless you start doing something completely stupid. Like I don't put Walt Disney in there or Orange Passion because
mine's finally growing. My
really?
No, my Walt Disney. I had this tiny chunk in the back top of my rock and was starting to get overgrown and shadowed.
Really?
So I broke a branch off and I glued it by my Orange Passion. And it's been like the last few weeks has really been puddling out and spreading finally. It's literally done nothing for me for like years. And it's finally spreading out and growing. My Orange Passions grows like crazy for me. That grows so well in my tank for whatever reason.
Really?
But yeah, the Walt Disney is finally growing.
So what do you attribute that to? Just breaking it off?
Not a clue. I was literally just like, well, if these other corals are encroaching in it, they're like growing way faster. This is the slowest thing ever. So I'm like, I'm just wanting a different spot in case something happens, it overgrows, it fights, and I'll have another spot. And yeah, it's just like totally puddling out now, and it's much happier.
It's such a beautiful coral, but to your point, there is a reason why it's so expensive. It's not because collectoritis and this is what people charge. It's just it
Yeah.
takes almost forever to grow, and you can kill it.
Yep. Orange passion, though, that one grows like a champ for me. That thing grows so well in my tank.
Now, I have a interest. Where did you, how long ago did you get it? And like, do you know the strain of the orange passion?
I'm gonna guess Reef, but I don't know for sure. But I've had it for quite a while. Like
what, 2 years or
yeah, it's
5
been a few
years?
years. It's been a few years. But it was a tiny little piece when I got it. Now it's huge.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, like it's not the
Mm.
best photo of it, but see if I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
less blue. But it's a beautiful coral, and it grows like, yeah, you can kind of see in the middle of my tank. Like it's huge.
Okay, I would love. I would say I have two different orange passions in my tank that I grow. One is the strain I have kept for 15 years. 15 years
Yeah.
I've had that thing, and it's still tiny because this thing would grow. Eventually, I will frag off a piece, and then something would happen, and I would just like the main colony would just die because of some swing of alkalinity or God knows what.
Yeah. That's
And
no
then
fun.
go back, and I've gone through this at least 3 or 4 times.
Mm.
But the color on this thing is beyond insane. Like it's probably my absolute favorite coral. The other strain I picked up from a local hobbyist a couple of years ago, and it's all right. It's an orange passion, but just not even close in terms of the color.
This isn't. How old is this pic? This is an older photo.
Yeah.
But let me just pull one up. Image. Yeah, so it's a bit more blue than this. It looks a bit greeny in this one, but there's a too big. There, if you can see the screen. So that's
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. That's,
yeah.
that's
So
good.
that's
But
whatever that one is.
polyps are not out, eh?
Well, no, they normally are. It's just this one photo.
Oh, okay.
This is the only one I could find that was like not blue,
Nice.
proper colors.
Did I tell you I solved my polyp extension problem? I think last time we did. We actually so this is a good one. I did I want to say 4 or 5 months ago. Like I was just so determined. I said, okay, I'm gonna figure out how to get the polyp extensions out. And I decided. I sat down. I developed a plan. I scouted all the internet. The first search on and like how do you get the polyp extension out? The first search you do on YouTube gets the video out of me and you talk about polyp extension.
Yep.
Like 3 years ago, whatever it is. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous.
There you go. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's I don't know which one it is, but that's the one that I have.
Yes, that's nice. That's very nice.
Yep.
So I search and then our video comes up and I listen to that one and it's like we are mostly asking what it is, but we're not saying really what it was. So put together a list, documented all my YouTube channel, and I just made sure I covered every one of those things, and then waited like 3 or 4 months, and then one day like everything was out and that's it. I still have no idea what exactly or like one particular thing, but it was making sure that the flow is optimal, and we discussed the flow, and make sure that everything is treated with interceptor, and it's great from that perspective. Make sure there's all the good stuff and don't do any bad stuff, and eventually it all came out.
That's
and
right,
I still don't quite know what it was. Kumar in your channel did say about the alkalinity swing, or that it doesn't do anything, and I would actually agree with him, because I have had I've had this so many times where actually big swings of alkalinity or salinity, if the tank is solid, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like in my main tank, sometimes because I have an automatic water change system
Hmm.
with Mobius, but those pumps, it's never equal amounts. So the salinity drifts
Hmm.
throughout, every week it will change by a little bit.
Yeah.
I just take salt, I put it in the sump, and and everything is fine, and not a single problem.
Wait, say it again. You throw your salt in the sump to balance it out. I've done
Yeah,
that.
I've been doing this for years.
Someone was shaming me for that when I brought it up on the stream one day, but yeah, I've done that too in the past.
I do this all the time. I've never, I don't even know how I would correct the salinity on a 300-gallon aquarium. I mean,
I've put it in a deli cup myself. I'll stir it once in a while and let it slowly dissolve out. That's
have
kind
you
of work
tried?
too. Yeah, you're not supposed
it's horrible.
to, but it works.
It becomes like a slurry. Things don't quite.
I just have a little stir stick, and every once in a while I'll give it a little stir, and it just slowly dissolves. Not
I don't know.
recommended. The bucket says do not mix with live fish, so don't do that. But or what I like to tell people too, if they want to raise their salinity slowly, is just take your ATO and put it in your saltwater bin and let it just top off that way for a bit to do it gently. Fish Ventura,
Yeah.
quick shout out. Thank you for the super chat. I hope my orange passion grows and looks as good as that. Thanks, Devin Dmitry. Thank you for the super chat, and I will send your orange passion good vibes from my orange passion.
Excellent.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's another myth, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Orange passion's honestly probably one of my favorites for the acros. I just love that blue and that orangey yellow shagginess. She's a beauty.
Yeah, that's a different. Yeah, they are so different.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah, this one grows amazing for me, and it's probably one of my favorite acros in the tank, just because I love that color combination.
It's very, very nice. I agree.
How to lower your salinity? Well, take out some water and let your ATO replace them. That's one way. Or do a water change and just make it a bit lower. ICP says 37. Yeah, so exactly. Pull a gallon a day and let your auto top off replace it and just do it gently. Or do a big water change and mix it at, 0.2 instead of 0.26 type of thing.
I'm completely off the ICP methodology, to be honest with you. That's another big crime. Yeah.
Well,
but I was never big into it in the first place.
That's fair. I think it's good to do it periodically for good measure, but I also think that the money you spend on an ICP test is spend it on salt and do a big water change.
This should be a plaque. 100%.
Yeah. If you're a slacker water changes, periodic testing I think is good just to make sure nothing's too crazy. But if you keep up on water changes, but it also depends, right? If you're dosing trace elements and everything else, it's good to make sure you're not overdoing it or severely under. But if you loosely dose it to make sure you're not bottoming them out, and every month or two you do a decent water change, your tank's overall gonna be fairly happy.
I would agree.
Yeah. My goal is to do a brute can every month or two, just for good measure. Keep stuff happy.
Yeah, I go through one extra large brute. So I have not a 44 gallon. I have a special ordered 55 gallon brute, which is in white, which is so much nicer because you actually see all the, all this residual inside.
Yep.
And I go through one brute every week, at least. So
you're a better man than I. I'm lucky if I get one every month to 2 months. I'll do one. But then when I do it, I'll do both tanks. And I've gotten wiser over time. So I got the Ultra Zero CHA pump or whatever, and I buy the little extension hose and then the hook. So then I have two of them now because I'd use one. If I'm motivated, I'll just drain the tank with the hose with clean the sand. But sometimes if I'm more of a rush, I'll just pump the water out of the tank super fast.
Yes.
But then I'd start prepping for the next tank, and I gotta go take the bin and dump it out and then put it down the drain. So I got two of those. So I can have one filling the tank as the next one's dumping it out, and then I can swap them and refill the next brute for the next tank. So I always try and do them both in the same day.
Somebody calls you and you forget, and then yes,
pretty much.
I've had this a few times.
Yeah. So.
You know what happened to me once was I never expected that. So I fill up the saltwater brute from freshwater. I use a pump.
Mm-hmm.
the Ecotech one, and then I've got a hose, and then towards the end there is the the siphon cylinder, right?
Yep.
And I was always kind of just taking this thing hose, putting it in there, turning the pump, and going away somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
I never thought twice. It would just always work. And until one day, the whole thing just started lifting up from the water,
Oh no.
and then it went on, and then like 2 seconds later, I hear the sound, oh my
Uh-oh.
god, there's like water. Very quickly, I was able to do that. So like maybe a couple of gallons of water
Yeah.
were spilled, but yeah.
I like that Python hook thing. It's great. You just put it on the side of the tank. It keeps it nice and secure. As you're refilling, you don't have to worry about it. I think it's a good way to go.
Mm,
And you get the little ball valve, so it's easy to shut it off when it gets to the right level. But usually, if you have 2 brew cans, you just drain as much
yes.
as you're adding, and then you're good.
Yes.
And then the one I
yes.
use for my dirty water, I got wheels for
Yep.
it, so I can just wheel it to the bathroom, and then pump it down the sink or whatever afterwards. But it works.
It's coming
But
up with
I'm
all
like,
those things.
could I just put this straight to the drain and not wheel stuff around? So this is my
Yeah.
other contemplation.
Oh, there you go.
I know. There's a question for you about what's your trace element of choice, or what do you use? Do you dose trace elements? What do you do?
So I settled on on the fauna.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like their 3-part, because they also comes with those little trace element buttons, bottles. So I do add those, per instructions.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good when I do that because I feel like I'm doing something with trace elements.
Yep.
And there is some rhyme to this, and it has been working. But I can say that every time I try to play God and adjust things myself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, like, some people are amazing, and all the power to them. But that's not my forte.
Mm-hmm.
I like it in theory, but in practice, it never worked. And um, again, just do bigger water changes, and hopefully it'll kind of sort it out.
Calcium reactor or no calcium reactor?
No, this is one thing I kind of I'm missing. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do it because I also have the Cal RX product by Aquawiz,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I know a
I've
few
looked at that
people that
actually.
use it,
Yeah.
and they absolutely love it. Like, it's a game changer. However, so when I started out in the hobby, it's all anecdotal, right? So
Yeah.
I remember reading up on things, and I think it was Mr. Saltwater Tank. It was like he wrote an article back when the articles were there. Like, there was he didn't even do videos at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something about, like, if you have a tank that's smaller than 100 gallons, you don't want to use a calcium reactor. And he had like little things where, like, if you're a geek, then do this. If you do this, like, I mean, it was some sort of a tree of something.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like, okay, I just gonna do 2-part, and the calc was, or maybe later on. And I just didn't get into it, and then never in my life I ended up doing it. So I'm a little bit intimidated after 15 years of doing this, of calcium reactor.
That's fair. They seem scarier than they are. They're not actually that scary. I like them because they are not the cheapest to buy. Once you have it,
No.
so cheap to
Yeah.
run versus dosing. Like, dosing
For sure.
would cost me a small fortune on my water box, where calcium reactor is pretty dang cheap. And I'm doing a bit of a mix of like dosing and calcium reactor for some reason the last little while on mine. But yeah.
What about pH and
it's
the whole
worse.
thing? It's gonna
It's worse.
lower.
It is worse. But at the same time, when you have a big tank full of corals, and it's like, I don't really need it to grow faster anymore, because you're just breaking stuff off every time I clean the glass because it's too big. So I chased that pH dragon for a while, and now I'm like, I don't really care as much anymore. I still have soda lime I'll change once in a while on top of my skimmer and a few things to like help so it doesn't go too low, just for like general coral health. But yeah, it does lower it, but at the same time, it is so cheap to run it. Like, refilling the 10-pound bottle of CO2 is like $30, and I do it every like year and a half. Once a year, I'll probably like, give the media rinse and just top it off again. It's like $30 and so it's like $60 a year probably, if that, for dosing. Where if I, like, my calcium reactor is off, and I think I was dosing like 150, 200 mils of like Alpha Reef a day to try and like keep in
Yeah.
that balance when I was off.
Yeah.
And even right now, I think I have it dosing like 90 mils a day alongside the calcium reactor, partially for trace elements and just other stuff. But I was just trying to toy with if I dose more and do calcium reactor a bit less, you know, how's that affect pH and different stuff. But
so for me, my Kalkwasser is doing, I would say, at least 50%, maybe 70% of the base. And then I have my AquaWiz connected to the alkalinity container, and then it just tops off that differential. So my alkalinity is rock steady at 8.0, and I find that this this is a recipe for both tanks, and I would never do anything other than that. It
so
just
what you're
makes the
saying
most
is I
sense.
should hook up my AquaWiz to alkalinity and actually let it tweak stuff for me?
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And remember, like sometimes people just kind of think, oh, well, how am I gonna do it? Like if I do something else, that's the thing. It works very well with as a combination. So Kalkwasser, as long as it's steady, or even if it's not steady, like it'll just dynamically. It's gonna be better than any human. And
All right, I'll try it.
it's
at least when I do the new, once I swap my tank,
there
I'll
you go.
set it
So
back
yeah,
up.
so let me know how that goes. But this is probably one of the best features of AquaViz, other than just letting you know.
I just like that it tests hourly and it doesn't cost me anything to run it. That's like the magical of me. So I have like I still have the Apex and it still tests twice a day. And the AquaViz tests like every hour, and I can kind of like spot check them to keep each other honest. And if they're out of whack, and I know I gotta check the calibration on stuff. But overall, it's pretty cool device.
So I'll do a third shameless plug today. Today is that thing. If anybody wants an AquaViz, it's go to treasurecorals.com, because if you're in Canada, that's the only place to get it.
You're the hookup this side of the imaginary line.
That is exactly right. So, and I stand by like it's a great product.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty cool product. I like it.
Yeah.
So, other random question for you.
Please.
The calcium reactor add-on thing that controls it. It's like basically, is it a dosing pump and a thing? Like, what does it do to tweak it? I've seen it, but I haven't like dug super deep.
I'm still. My understanding is that is just makes controlling the calcium reactor and the amount you dose there and everything else like the most stable thing, and it works very well with the AquaViz. But I like to talk about my own experience. Unfortunately, I haven't tried the calcium reactor thing. One reason also I haven't done it is because at least that particular one apparently only works with a single chamber calcium reactor.
Oh, I wonder why.
It was something in the instructions. I haven't quite tried it out, and that was why I was like, okay, now I need to go and research about the calcium reactors, because usually if I get a new toy, I'd go research, see which one is like the best, the most complete solution, and I'll just do that.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I do it. But in this case, I figured, okay, I need to kind of go back and figure out all of this, and then I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with pH. And I'm just I kind of gave up over the summer. This could be the project over the next couple of months, because I do want to experience calcium reactor. I have 2 large CO2 canisters back from my freshwater days that
you're
I can easily refill. Yeah, so I'm all set.
Do you know what's funny? I had one too from back from freshwater days, because I used to do like high tech plant tanks. Like, oh, perfect! I can use this for my calcium reactor.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Just so people know what we're talking about.
That's
there's
the unit.
The AquaWiz, which can test your alk basically every hour using some magic of pH probes and math, so it doesn't use aeration, which is super cool. But then there's this thing to control a calcium reactor. So there's pH probes in, CO2 out.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like it adjusts the pH inside the reactor, control it, I'm assuming, based on the CO2 and the in and outs for it. Does it also do flow through it?
That's
not that I can read that, but that might be for flow in and out probably.
It appears to be the case. Yeah. So I gotta go in and research this one.
Well, if you need it tested out, I can completely figure it out for you.
All right. Do you have how many chambers is your calcium reactor?
I have one that has 2 chambers, and I have one that has 1 chamber. I have 2 calcium reactors.
Okay, you might
What?
You might get a call from me afterwards then.
Sounds good. Question: why would it make a difference if there's 1 or 2 chambers?
I think it has to do with the feedback loop. From what I understand, it measures things and then it will do something to it.
Okay.
And the problem there is, I think, with the second chamber, it changes the signal. That's my understanding.
Okay, I think I have an idea what it's doing. Now, there's 2 pH probes on it, so I wonder if one's for tank and one's for the calcium reactor, or if it's... Yeah, it's interesting, though. CO2 in. Looks like a cool unit. I'm intrigued. Novel flow and CO2 control, so it does both. But yes, calcium reactors on your farm system, honestly, like, it will... I don't know what you're spending on, like, dosing supplements, but it will probably save you a small fortune to get one.
Yeah, I've been spending a fair bit on that. That's true.
That's where calcium reactors shine, man. I would be spending a fortune on my water box to dose it with like how much coral I have in there if it wasn't for the calcium reactor. With it, it's not bad at all. Without it, be a fortune.
I'm tempted. Do you? So it sounds silly, but the biggest deterrent for me from calcium reactor was those knobs at the top. There's like usually every time I see it, there's like 25 knobs, and every one of those screws you have to unscrew
just to open it
and
when you change the media. You can buy thumb screws, like little things to change them and stuff like that. But honestly, I mean, you do it like once a year, so it's not like it's the end of the world. You just have the pain of many screws once a year, and you're okay.
Oh, so you only do it like once a year per se?
Depends how often you got to refill it, but yeah, like once a year. Maybe I'll just top mine off. Okay, so they're asking, is Aqua's real? Yes, it is. The website's not the best. It's not the best, but it works pretty damn well. I will say that.
It's it works remarkable, and there's a great mobile app as well.
Here, I'm just signing into it so I can show you guys.
I use all the time.
Yeah, so legitly, here, can I change this? But yeah, like it legitly tests your tank like every hour. Here, can I make this bigger? Charts.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
And there's like the graph page, but yeah, like every hour it tests my tank.
Yeah, look at that. That's your alkalinity. It just goes as one straight line.
Why do you have way more lines than yours? I only have one line.
Did you do the firmware?
Oh, it's because I'm not dosing. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe it's your dosing solution. Yeah, it's not focusing. But yeah, no, it's super slick. And then I have the pH probe piped into the apex through a PM1, so I can have it on the apex as well. So that works well.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I think what we need to do is update the firmware on your unit because you have an earlier one. Because then it will also measure your pH in there as well.
Yeah, but even so, if you see, so there's like this is in the apex, so I pipe it out. So every hour I can see what my level is in apex as well, which is cool. Yeah, no reagent. That's like the huge selling factor for me.
And it's tiny. Like it's a tiny container and one line that goes there.
And it's quiet.
The best part for me was when I went to a coral show as a vendor last year. I took the unit from took the unit with me, so it was this fully set up unit. We go there, I plug it in, and within the next few minutes, it was basically testing alkalinity with one tube in my Frag system, which was pretty cool. So it was a great demo, but it just goes to show you like how standalone this thing is. Like, I mean, good luck doing it with anything other than that.
This is very, very true. Yep. So yeah, no, it's a super cool unit. You obviously know where to find them if you're in Canada now.
Yes.
Yep.
Treasure corals.
Yep. There you go. But super cool. But yeah, I don't know why they've fallen out of fashion to a certain extent, but yeah, on anything over like I'm gonna say like 150 gallons, if you have lots of coral, I'd say it's probably worth it. You guys are too techy. I'm just keeping my corals happy. Got to keep the corals happy.
And you know what? There's something to be said about this as well. Like, if I know some people that, for example, have a lot of spare time, if you can just go and observe and do this, like this is the trick behind all of this. Like the best reefers out there are the ones that don't get bored and go and meticulously look at the tank and look at how this coral is touching this coral, or this canary in a coal mine, for example, changes color. And if you proactive, like, I mean, I know for a fact that, let's say, when I was dosing like iodine many years back, this is a good one, right? Because we all start with this same project, which is, how do I get that next color, right? And then it's like you Google something, and then somebody goes, oh, you need to dose bacteria or aminos, or iodine was a big thing, right?
Yep.
And then you go and on Amazon you buy the Lugol drips, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dose 2 drops every day, kind of thing. I don't mind, like, I'll do it. I'm doing something good. And then after a while, I noticed a couple of my corals started to go like really ugly brown,
Oh
because they
no.
were just like soaking in all that iodine. I'm like, what the hell am I doing with this thing? And then I had to, okay, I stop. And guess what? Actually, this is what Patrick from Reef Wholesale
Yeah.
taught me. Just nori. Nori has enough iodine. Just feed your tanks more with nori, and
Yep.
you're going to be good to go.
Sheet a day keeps the iodine happy.
Yeah.
And the tank's
So
happy. Yeah, no,
I
I love
like
it.
simple solutions.
It's good. It's good. That's actually, since we're talking about like long term, as much as I'm like hardcore and geek out over gear, I'm finding myself like simplifying things over time. Like even when I redo mine and put all the tank back together, I'm gonna be like, do I need all of this? Like, let's start with the basics and slowly decide what I need as I re-add stuff. Because you get to that
That's
certain
good.
point where there's just so much stuff on it, and you're like, do I need all this? You probably don't.
Again, depends on what the beauty of reefing is, that it's so multifaceted. So if somebody, like, for different strokes for different folks, some people, it's all about the like decking. It's like your computer. Like, I mean, you have those computers with like fancy lights and everything else, and people will spend gazillion of dollars and time, like going and doing all this neon lights, and some
Yep.
people just don't care about it. So it's the same thing for many people. What's happening underneath in the sump is the real stuff. Like, give me more gadgets and little things, and this is totally fine. Like, it's their prerogative, and they should do it.
Yeah, that's fun. Like this, for me, I know it's gonna be a complete excuse to like make everything tidy again. And if I ended up swapping to the tank with the aluminum stand, same thing. I'll probably like 3D print little wire runs. I can go into the grooves and like keep it all nice and pretty and tight. So it's a good excuse to make it pretty again.
I love it.
Yep. Not that I need more projects, but here one comes. It's part of the fun though. All right,
True.
do got to wrap her up fairly soon because I got to do the family stuff pretty quick. But yeah, any other questions anyone has about hobby versus farm or certain corals or anything? Let us know. Any other big projects coming up for the farm on your side, aside from the fact that you need a calcium reactor now?
Yeah, calcium reactor. My goal is to make this the most awesome looking farm that is. So I'm starting to focus more and more on less quantity and more quality, not only of what I carry, but like, I want things to be pristine. I want things to be just kind of going, oh my God. And I'm going to also spend more time about the decor in the farm as well. Like, I want things just to look as professional as possible. Like, that's my next frontier.
Yep.
And same actually for the website. I want to, so like, my differentiator is I don't import anything. Like, I'm not in this game. Everything that I sell is from other aquarists. I usually get a frag. It's quarantine and everything else, and then eventually I'm able to sell it. But I want to perfect the videography and photography of this as well. Like, I mean, nowadays on Instagram, you see the bar is so high. There's one guy, Graham's farm, I think he's in mid states, somewhere in US. Worldwide Corals did like a 3-part video with him, and it was phenomenal. I watched it like probably 20 times. My kind of guy, like, he's an engineer, and you could see like he just does things proper, and he's doing something. I'm trying to crack how he's done it, but there is on Instagram it's a frag, and it's all black.
Yep.
Just the frag itself, but it's a video, and he turns it gracefully all around in the video.
Nice.
And I have a few thoughts on doing this. I try to, but I still haven't figured out how the hell he did it. I've even built a couple of contraptions, but just haven't had the time to do that. But that's my that's my challenge. Like I want people when they go to my website and see my photos.
Given that you have a 3D printer and can make fun stuff, you could just make like a little bar on the bottom with like a little pulley and like a little frag holder, and it's like a little like motor crank thing that sits above it, so it's underwater, and just like a little pulley.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did. The issue there was there was no smoothness to the movement, so it was just kind of a little bit jerky and everything else, and I kind of
stepper motor and belt drive.
That's and then that's where I kind of stopped there. But I will.
Little Arduino speed controller and a little stepper motor and a little belt. You'll be set.
See, that's your forte, not mine. I'm a lot more software, not hardware.
Okay, I'll help you design it. You can write the speed controller or just copy paste the code online.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Couple of last questions in the chat here. I don't know if there's questions for us or not, or general chat. Mark me wrong about salinity and the water changes. Torches started dying with low serenity, but acro started to extend. Oh, low salinity, I think you meant. Opinions on hydros versus apex. Alyssa, apex for me. I have an apex on both of my tanks.
Same with me, and I've used hydros early on. It was very cool product, very novel product, but I just kind of stuck with Apex, and it seems to be fine. But now I actually also the Aquarium right now does a lot more for me that I care about.
Yeah, part of another thought that I have too is like I love automating stuff, but I also if you let one thing control everything, you're also putting all your eggs in one basket. So I also like standalone systems with on it, and then the controller be the backup. Yes. For instance, like my Apex controls my calcium reactor, but again, if I had that thing, I would let that control it, and I'd let the Apex control that as a backup. So if it's doing something weird, then it can override it in a sense. So I think having those levels of like backups and redundancy, I think that's like the best long-term way to do it.
Yes. I want to Douglas has said that in the comments, Mr. Charles Delbig, who I've met, and I think I actually have a signed copy of a book by him, spoke a few months ago about the nitrogen phosphorus ratio, blah blah blah. You want basically you want higher phosphates and lower nitrates. I don't know, like this is actually a very good example of like, Douglas is saying with all respect that this is it, but I found that for me that is not where like the sweet spot is. Like I do find that the whole ratio of 1 to 100 has been working well for me. So phosphate to nitrate, and just been sticking to it. And I don't know, high phosphates, low nitrates doesn't make sense to me personally.
No, that's fair. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed tonight's random live stream of farms, lessons learned, personal versus that, it's always been fun. Dmitry, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
If you are in Canada, be sure to check out Treasure Corals, which is also linked in the description, so you don't have to think or type, just click. And yeah, as always, guys, you enjoyed it, that like button, your new subscribe, and we will catch you guys next week.
Cheers.
Okay, thanks, guys.